Hello. We are on Tipsy Tuesdays. And of course, we have our little drink because we're going to get our drink on while we talk about the topic today, which is weight loss surgery. And I have with me here Miss Apple Honey, and I am Big Cherry. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell people where they can find you.
Okay. I'm BBApplehoney. You can find me at BBApplehoney.com and all of the good stuff's there.
And I am Big Cherry. Like I said, you can find me at BigCherry.com, on Instagram at Border Curves. Okay, so weight loss surgery. The reason why we're both together here is because we both got weight loss surgery. We're obviously at different stages of it. You got it done how long ago?
2009, the end of 2019.
Okay. And I got it done in 2021, at the end of 2021. So for me, it's recent, and yeah, it was a lot of changes, but here we are to talk about it. Let's see. Let's start with the first question that everyone kind of asked me. Why did you get it done? What was the reason that got you there?
That's always a tricky question. I had wanted it since I was 16.
Okay.
And because I was big. I was always big. And then I got to like 356 pounds after my first child was born. And I was just like, there's no way I'm getting closer to 400. It scared me. Like, I was just like, those unknowns, being a mom and stuff. It was so lots of things.
Yeah, no, that's a good reason. For me, I it's not that I wanted it, but I was given the option to get it done when I was 26. And I didn't get it done because when I went to my appointment, um, they started explaining to me everything about it. And they told me, you're going to have to take like supplements, vitamins, and everything for the rest of your life because you're not going to be able to eat everything, all that stuff. And I kind of got scared because I didn't know it back then, but I had ADHD and I was very bad with keeping up with medications and stuff like that. So I kind of was like, I'm not able to keep track of things, and I'm gonna mess myself up. And I kind of backed out from it. And then I didn't have an insurance that covered it until 2021, when I had a moment where I realized that because I had been working for 3 years in a sedentary position, like it was from home, working on a desk, and I barely left my house, like I was not doing much activities or anything. I realized that I really had no endurance whatsoever, and I kept gaining. And that's when I said, okay, I need to do it. This is the time to do it for me. And it was the right moment because it was like middle of pandemic. I had the insurance to cover it completely. Like it was like just the perfect storm for it to happen at that moment. And I went with it. Also, I had, there were also some health issues. I had a hormone imbalance, and I also had, I was pre-diabetic, and I also had very high triglycerides. That's the one. That even though I tried diets and everything, I wasn't able to control it by myself. So that's when I made, like, that was the main thing where I made my decision. I was like, okay, this is it. Like, we're doing it as a preventive measure, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I had high blood pressure, but that was really the only health issue. And I kept having doctors tell me, oh, you're so lucky that you haven't gotten anything yet. And that was just a fear in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh God.
I feel like providers are, a lot of them are getting the idea that fatness doesn't mean that you're going to be unhealthy immediately. Right. But a lot of them are very lost in their old ways of like fat equals all of these diseases. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, fat's bad to doctors.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know so many friends that they go to a doctor with something and they ignore it, or they immediately go like, well, you got to lose weight, and they don't even look at it, because they are educated. They're put in their minds that that's the first thing you got to treat, and they don't really look into it much more than that. So
yeah. I used to do that. I'd go for like an antidepressant refill, and they're like, oh, you should just lose the weight and then the depression will go away. And I'm like,
Oh,
Doesn't even sound right.
no skinny depressed people in this world, right?
I'm like, that doesn't even sound right at all.
Anyway, yeah, we dove into the topic, but I do want to say one important thing that I tell everyone that asks me about this topic. And let's add this, that the reason why we're talking about this topic is because we, as people that have gotten it done, we do get a lot of questions from friend of
Mhm.
ours about it. I get asked a lot on social media about the whole process and everything. So I just wanted to put it out there for everyone to be able to access. But what I wanted to say is that the first thing I say is that it's not for everyone.
No.
I do not believe that this is a procedure that everyone should get. I really don't. I will say that for me, I tried plenty of things before I went for the surgery. And I was, it was very relieving to talk to my doctors. I don't know if it's because it's like a specialized clinic on this and they do this so much that they educate you very well before you even start the process of making their appointments and everything. Like they give you a video presentation you gotta watch before making the appointment. And in the video, I was like, oh my god, this is the right decision because they said, what was it that okay? They said something along the lines of there's a yo-yo effect with your weight. Like if you're a person that has had the yo-yo effect with your weight, you are someone that should look into this procedure. And when they started talking about it, it was like, are you the kind of person that if you get on a diet or you get on, some kind of regimen, you start losing weight, but then you gain it back, if not double, triple.
Right.
As soon as it stops working, like you gain it back. And they start explaining how that yo-yo effect is that your body, when you start giving it a deficit of intake, right, and it loses weight, your body kind of thinks, oh, this is not normal, this is not us, like I gotta
Mhm.
fight this. And once that diet starts working, like it kind of like makes up for it. It's like your body is fighting you starving, and
Mhm.
then you
Yeah,
gain
it goes into starvation mode.
exactly, and you gain all this weight back. And it's like for someone that is not able to get on a regimen of like basically working out every day and getting on an extreme diet, every single day and all, it becomes the up and down thing, right?
And I think a lot of people don't explain that when it comes to
Yeah,
diet. So when you take a person, especially a person that's been big their whole lives and has that kind of fear of, oh, like it's never going to get better. Like, look, I'm gaining weight. So you don't stay on it, you
yeah,
give up
yeah.
because no one explains the ups and downs of weight
And
loss.
that's the thing when people go like, "Oh, you should just lose weight." It's not that easy. I could easily stop eating certain things and I can lose weight, but I will gain it back. As soon as I stop doing that, I will gain it back. And it will get to a point where doing that stops working
Mm-hmm.
because your body kind of like is fighting it the whole time. So it's basically a whole fight. My best friend, he has done like exercise routines and diet and everything for like very committed to it, and he's lost 100 something pounds. And then as soon as he's not able to continue with that regimen, like he couldn't work out every day anymore or he couldn't run every day, he goes back up. And it's
Mm-hmm.
been a whole thing with him, and he has proved himself that he is able to have the commitment to do it on his own, right? But it goes back. And that's what people don't understand when they tell you just lose weight. It's like, yeah, I could do that,
It's
but
not that easy.
it's not that easy. But and what they explained to me is that surgery gives you that option of having like a reset of your body, basically. And it's like, of course, you're very limited on the intake that you have, but your body will expand at some point. You can actually start. I already can eat much more than I ate when I started.
Oh, I can.
Yeah. So like you can go back to gaining weight and everything, right? But it gives you like a reset that your body finally lets you lose the weight and keep it off for a little bit. So anyway, that was the point. I feel like it's not a process for everyone. I would not recommend it to everyone. And I
Oh,
know
no, not at
for
all.
a fact that there are people that go to the doctor and they immediately go like, "Hey, you want to get this surgery?" Like it's some simple thing. It's not.
Mm-mm.
It is not. It's a hard process. It is a long process. it is permanent. You cannot undo it after you do it that first surgery. So, yeah, it's something that not to take lightly. That's all I wanted to point out before we continue to everything else. Okay, so I know your process was very different. How was your process to get the surgery? What did you have to do?
Well, it started when I was 16. Finding a doctor then that would see me as young as I was really hard. I found one. I went through the whole process.
Hmm.
Insurance issues said, nope, we're not going to cover that. So it was very discouraging. And meanwhile, I was gaining weight. I went through the process again. Same thing. Third time, I got right before they were about to schedule it. And, in the United States, most states, you have a 6-month process. You have weigh ins, you have seminars, you have
Yep.
all this stuff. And then they denied me again because my insurance refused to cover it.
Wow.
So then I had my first child. I continued to gain. I heard about a place in Mexico. I researched them for almost 2 years. And then I got on a plane for the first time and went to Tijuana to a beautiful facility. And it only cost me $5,000.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, my process was very different for sure. I mentioned that I finally had an insurance that could cover it completely.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, so I was able to get it here in New York City. There's a facility in Manhattan that this is all they do. Like they do so many a day, and you can tell because the process is so automated. Like it was like super easy, to be honest. Like the
Mm.
process itself of getting the appointments and everything. You go on the website, you email them, they send you the video, you watch it, then they get you the appointment, you go there, consult with the surgeon, super quick. They do all the tests and everything, and then they give you a paper with all the appointments you got to make on the next couple of months. I did have, I think it was like 4 months in between everything, with the psychological consult and all of those things. I made it a little longer because I had a trip, and I was like, I want to go to Cancun before I do the surgery. So I remember I was like, this is my last trip as big as I am and all that. So I made it 6 months instead, I think, but by my choice. And yeah, I went in, got it done. I don't know how long did you stay in the hospital.
I was in the surgical center for 2 nights, and then they have a beach house there that they transport you to, that you stay actually on the beach in like a condo.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, it's a lot different.
That is very cool. I stayed 3 nights in the hospital, almost four. I'm not sure actually. Um, but yeah, 3 nights in the hospital, and then I came home. And that was it. How it is. Like after you get the
Oh.
surgery is like 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think mine was just under 30.
Yeah,
I'll have
very.
to see if people are interested. They filmed mine inside.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that. But mine was like very quick, and obviously you wake up. I woke up with the biggest pain in the world.
Oh no, I see. I woke up before they pulled the trach out, and
Oh,
I was freaking out like, you guys better pull this. And then I got nauseous right away, and I was
no, I woke up when I was already in the observation area after the surgery. But as soon as I woke up, I felt the pain, and I was like, "Ooh, no, I want to be out again." And
it's
then
those
I
gas
oh,
pains.
they gave me like the liquid the medicine for the pain, and I was like, "I'm out, peace." I was gone again, but it was very painful. But right after it, it's like you get those 3 days in the hospital. It's like being all uncomfortable because it's like you got is it gases? I think it's gas, right?
Yeah, from like puffing up your belly.
So you got all the gas and everything. They make you walk right after your surgery. They make you walk.
Did you have a drain tube?
No,
I
no.
did.
So you had the surgery that used to be the big one, right?
What do you mean?
5 dots.
Yeah. So I have four. because I did a liver shrinking diet first, so they didn't have to move my liver out of the way.
Okay.
But the fourth hole was a drain tube hole where that stuck out with a bulb.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that. Mine was already like as soon as I was already closed off. Like I have like
Mm-hmm.
four, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 dots. But I was already closed off. I didn't have a drain tube or anything. I did the diet that you mentioned. I had to do it too. Everyone has different diets. I learned that when I was looking up information about it because I joined a Facebook group for support. It was like a support for weight
Oh,
loss.
I was in so many, yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that all of them have different diets, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that my doctor's office was one of the most strict people there were in the bariatric world.
Oh, I'm curious what yours was now because mine was pretty strict.
Mine was like my diet before the surgery was like, and this is like weeks before, like 2 cups of veggies and like
Oh, they were kind.
and like stuff like that, and I'm like, I need to eat. Um,
So my first week, I was only allowed to have 6 ounces of chicken breast at night. During the day, it was protein shakes and all liquids.
See, but you could have chicken. I
But
couldn't.
then the second week, it was all liquids.
No, I did the all liquids one. I
Yeah.
did the all liquids one, but like the one that was supposed to be a few weeks before, that one was very, very strict. So I am, and this is, I don't recommend it to anyone. Don't take my word or anything. But I realized that every doctor made a decision on what diet they wanted to do. And in my case, there are some doctors, I don't know if they told you had to lose some specific amount of weight before.
They didn't. They just wanted to see that I lost something because it proved that I did what I was supposed to.
Exactly. So that was mine too. But there were other places that they tell you have to lose this specific amount of pounds to get it going. So
Mm-hmm.
thank God mine didn't have a specific amount. They just told me we just want to see you go down, and I'm like, okay, no problem. So I took the liberty of looking on my support group for other restrictions that were given to other patients, and
Mm-hmm.
there was one that I could deal with, which was um, everything was either chicken broth or protein shakes, and you could have one lean cuisine meal a day. And it was
That's nice.
yeah, it was like a specific kind of like lean cuisine or smart ones. It was a specific kind, like less than this amount of calories, less amount of this and that. And I was like, see, that I can do because it's like I have one meal a day. The
Yeah.
rest, obviously, I suck it up with the protein shakes and whatever and the liquids, but at least it's one actual meal. It's not a little cup of veggies, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I got so desperate during that full liquid week. I was taking the cottage cheese, the low fat cottage cheese I was allowed to have, putting it in a pan, and I was like, it tastes like mozzarella. I was so desperate. I was like, I need to choose something.
no, but yeah, I did the lean cuisine, and that actually made it so much easier. It did. It really
Oh
did.
yeah, because it gives you something to look forward to when you're starving all day.
That was literally it. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna have my one meal a day soon. Like it was something definitely made it so
Oh,
much better.
that
And
second week, I was so miserable. I was like, I'm not talking to my husband and my son. I was like, I'm not cooking. I'll go in the bedroom. You guys eat. Can't.
I that was a very difficult process, definitely. But we did it. We had to do it. We got
But
it
it's
done.
good though because it tests your willpower. Because after surgery, it's so different because you're not hungry
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah, that is true. So we talked about how it was like right when we woke up and everything. After the surgery, how was the process for you? Like, what do you remember that was like? What was the most difficult thing for you?
Honestly, the most difficult I think was that first like what is it, the 6 or 8 weeks where you're relearning how to eat. So it's the liquids and the jellos and I mean I could eat a jello and get full and I'd be like and also I was scared to like bust my stomach open. So I was like, you're kind of just terrified because it doesn't feel good to eat. Like those
Yeah,
first 2 months, it's terrible.
yeah. For me, It's exactly that. Like having to relearn what my body feels like, it was the worst. Like I did not know if I felt uncomfortable because I had a gas or because I was hungry or because I had to go to the bathroom. I had no idea what was going on with my body.
Yeah, and then
And
you
that
have
was,
to look it up because if your shoulder started hurting, it meant that you had gas versus being full, and it's like you're googling like what? This doesn't make sense.
and there's also another part that I didn't like and I didn't know about until I was already after the surgery, which was I know that not everyone gets this, but I had to get, I think it was saline solution shots, I don't know, but it was to avoid any clots or anything.
Oh, I didn't have those, but I did do I did B12 like iron injections to myself that I bought in Mexico.
Yeah, that's the one. I had to inject myself twice a day.
Yeah. So I had to put my leg down, and this needle from Mexico was like this long because it had to iron has to go in your muscle, and I'd be sitting at the dining room table like shaking, like
Yeah, so I don't know if it was the same because the
I don't
iron,
think so.
no, it's not because iron. I was given the iron in pills.
Yeah, not in Mexico. They took us to the pharmacy to buy the shots to take home.
So I could have actually done. I would have preferred to do the injection to the pills. I'm not gonna lie. Because when I started taking the pills, the only times that I ever threw up was because of the iron pills.
Oh, they're harsh on your stomach.
It was
Yeah.
horrible. It was so horrible. But the injections I had, I believe it was saline solution. It was to avoid clots and all that after the surgery, and it was twice a day. They said in the stomach or in the arms, like in the fat area. And I remember at first my mom came and she helped me, so she was doing it. I'm okay with someone else injecting me, but when it was time to me do it to myself, I
Oh my god, I ended up stopped doing them because I was sitting there and I was like I can't because not only does it hurt to go in,
yeah,
iron burns when it goes in.
it burned, and for me it burned what I did too. And afterwards, like I would have like actual, like you could see the
The knot.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, like the one this is I'm like I got a tip for y'all. The one that you can do on your arms, there was a spot right here behind my arm that is like, the skin that I could inject myself. I couldn't feel anything.
It's probably the cellulite you get right here
Once
cuz cellulite you lose
I
feeling.
found that spot, it was easy breezy from there on because I
I'll have
couldn't
to
feel
remember that one
a thing at all. I didn't feel anything.
cuz
So
I don't know about
because the injections, I'm not gonna lie, that was one thing that I said, if I would have known this, I wouldn't have done it. Like I
yeah.
literally told the doctor, if I would have known I was about to inject myself, I would not have done this shit. I've
See,
come a long way from the 14-year-old that they would have
yeah.
to hold down to be able to take blood. Like I come a long way, but not that far.
I've always been honestly the thing that deterred me even in the beginning. I was like I don't want to have a drain tube. So when I went to Mexico and I knew I was going to have one, I was scared.
Oh yeah.
And it hurt because I filmed my reaction to them pulling it out too because they were like, "Oh no, it's just gonna feel funny."
Yeah.
No, 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 no. It was a sharp like because they're literally pulling it out from around your stomach out of your mind.
Crazy. I'm glad I didn't have to do that, but yeah. We're talking about the horrible things about it. And it's not even like horrible things to scare anyone, but it's like the
No.
realities of it. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
should be aware of everything that comes with it, because it's not. My doctor kept saying this is not a magic solution, and I
Right.
say that to
It's a
people.
tool. They call it a tool.
It is a tool, and not just that. It's not an easy process. Like that's it. I know that the way that they're offering it around sometimes in doctor's office, they're like, "Hey, there you go, get this surgery done now." Babe, it's a life-changing surgery, and it's a long process, and it's not easy. It's not for someone that is,
No.
I would say that for someone that does not have any health issues, and that is not, it's not affecting them negatively in a way that they have to get it done, I would not
Right.
recommend it to them. I really wouldn't. But because, and this is another, like the next part I wanted to touch. um I did it for health. I did it because I needed to do it. And I did
Mhm.
it as a preventive measure because I didn't want to wait until I was in a worse position to get this done, and then it would have been a harder process to go through. Because I did it when I did it, it was a thing that I did the surgery, and like on the fourth day, I was walking around like nothing. Like,
Oh yeah.
I was completely fine. I know that there's a lot of people that go through a lot of complications and everything, but it's usually people that have already other things that make it, you
Oh
know.
yeah. As soon as, which I had to take my stitches out by myself because Mexico.
Yeah.
Once those stitches came out, I was good. Those
Mine
it's
fell out.
no, I had to actually like pull them and sterilize scissors and go in and oh my
Yeah,
god.
no, on me they put those that fall out by themselves. So
Yeah, no, they use actual stitches, but after they came out, it was
mhm.
life-changing relief.
Okay, no, but so mine was a very easy process. Like I said, I did have a nurse visit twice just to check on me, but they were even telling me like you healed so quickly, like everything is like way before, and I'm like, cool, awesome, like everything's good to go.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is that I would not recommend it to someone that does it only for to change their appearance. Like I would not
Yeah.
recommend it for that, especially because the next topic is the lose skin, babe. If you lose the weight, you're gonna lose it, sure, but nothing is gonna get tightened up.
And don't let anyone tell you that you're young, you have elasticity.
That is
No.
bullshit. That is
No.
bullshit. They
It
will
does
tell
not work that way.
you if you exercise, if you tone and blah blah blah, it will go down. Maybe it will, but it will
It'll
not.
just get flatter.
It's not. It doesn't completely go
No.
back to normal. That does not happen. That is the reality of it.
No.
So if you do something like this just for appearance, and then you lose all the weight and you have all this loose skin that doesn't go tight back to being like that, you will end up possibly gaining more insecurities than when you were bigger, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Like I know, I was telling this to Apple Honey that I know that I had less insecurities about my body before when I was bigger than now. I feel like the loose skin and all that stuff, like my titties are all flat. I lost my ass. My thighs they have a bunch of skin, like you can see it sometimes. I have scars in my belly. So I'm like, okay, I only had an issue with my big arms before. Like I didn't even mind my belly at all.
See, mine's a little different because I was really insecure. I was way shyer, way quieter, more introverted than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I lost all of the weight. I got down to 180 pounds, and then I got really like it just hit me because every time I saw myself, everything was just like you have texture and you're like your skin has the appearance of someone way older than you. Everything just but then, when I got pregnant the second time and I got back up to 200 pounds, I was like, oh wow, like, I like it here. Like everything just felt different. And then I guess I can see that too, because you can start to feel that you were more comfortable with some extra pounds
Yeah.
at minimum than you are completely deflated.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly the word. I see myself a little deflated.
I call myself melted ice cream when I lay down.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Especially my titties. I love my titties, and now my titties are like, "Wah." I'm like, damn it. But anyway,
They've always been down, but at least they were
been down but
round.
plumpy. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were plumped up, you know. And I would say that one of the parts of my body that I lost weight right away was my ass. Like I lost my ass almost immediately. And now, and this I tell everyone, it hurts to sit down everywhere for me. I don't know if that happens to you, but oh my God.
Oh, it did, because I already have a broken tailbone that never heals. So when you sit, there's nothing.
There's nothing. And I'm
No.
like, every time I go to stand up, I'm like, okay, give me a second. Ah, and like it's been painful, seriously.
Or I started popping. Like I'd get up and I'd crack and I'd be like, ow, that doesn't feel nice.
No, but really, it's just something that I did not expect at all. I did
Oh
expect
no.
it again, and I already had a plan on getting reconstructive surgery afterwards. And I am still planning on doing that. I have been trying to get it scheduled, but I haven't done it. But I was like, okay, the loose skin, I know that it won't be perfect, but it doesn't bother me as much. I did
Right.
not count to getting to hurting when I sit down. I did not count with that. I really
Yeah,
did.
because you lose your cushion. Like, even my knees, I didn't realize. I always thought my legs were like more normal size than like my midsection.
Yeah.
My knees and my hips started killing me after I lost the
Oh
weight.
my gosh. I am like thinking right now. Well, there's also other things that they do tell you about these already. They tell you about the possibility of losing hair and your nails getting fragile because obviously you don't have as much intake of food.
I still shed. It's like my head didn't, it never caught back up.
I know a lot of people worry about that. I didn't because I was like, bitch, I wear wigs anyways. Like, I wear wigs anyway.
I didn't worry about it either because I was like, you know what? It's either my hair or my health. But then it started cut. I would brush my hair and I'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah, yeah. So I've always had like a lot of hair. Like, I have like thin hair, and my top area is like a little bit, not balding, but like it's very thin.
I
So
have very,
I worried. I was like, whatever. I'm still wearing
yeah,
it anyway.
yeah. Hairstylists call it fine. So I have a lot of hair, but it's very
Uh,
fine.
yeah, that's
So it looks thin.
yes, yes. But those are other things. One thing I did not count on, and this is something that I learned it was a common thing. I thought it was just me. Um, a lot of difficulty to drink just plain water.
Oh, yeah. No, in the beginning, yeah, I didn't want anything to do with water. It was just so heavy.
It feels heavy. It feels like when you drink a lot of liquids and your body does like the whole like moving around and you can feel the water moving
Yeah.
around in your
And
stomach.
they tell you not to drink with a straw, but that's the easiest way to like drink it. Like, and don't take my, it's not medical advice.
Yeah, no, that's why everyone does the flavored water because even though
Mhm.
it is water, somehow the flavor makes it a little more easy to take down.
Yeah. I started doing Gatorade Zero because I was like half dead half the time anyway.
I was doing I'm still doing vitamin water a lot.
Hmm.
But I try to drink water. It's still a little bit difficult, honestly. It feels just so heavy. So I
Yeah.
did want to
Water for me, yeah, water for me is good now. Like drinking on itself, like I can even go back to chugging.
oh, I don't.
But still eating and drinking, still like I can take a sip if I need it, but it doesn't feel good.
Oh, I can't. I still am in that stage of like I can do it a little bit, but I immediately will get uncomfortable and I gotta stop. So I
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, no, the water thing that's something that they don't tell you too much,
No.
and I only found out because of Facebook groups and talking to
Yeah.
other people that
Because
have.
they're telling you stay hydrated, and you're like, I
But I
can't. Dang it.
exactly, exactly. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's talk about another thing that is very common that unless you start the process of the surgery, you don't find out until you're into it. So let's tell people beforehand. And
Yeah.
it's the very high risk of getting pregnant after the surgery.
Hmm. Yeah.
I was told, girl, you better get on birth control after you get this surgery. Like I was told you have to.
Which I didn't, only because I was terrified of the hormones, because hormones and birth control, I mean they've always messed with your hormones and your weight and stuff. So we did other methods for a long time and it worked fine.
But
Until 2020, end of 2020.
mhm,
Because 21, my second was born.
map, you lasted a year. So I mentioned this not just because of like be careful, but also because I know people that have struggled with getting pregnant that
Mhm.
do have that are overweight and everything, and it is given to some people. It is actually mentioned this could be a solution to your
Right.
difficulty to getting pregnant, and it seems like it is like there's the amount of women that get pregnant after they get the surgery is enough for your doctor to immediately tell you get on birth control because it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, I've seen some people in those groups. It's like not even a month out and they get pregnant. I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't imagine.
I was told it's very risky if you do it before 4 months, and I'm like, don't worry about it. I don't want to do
Yeah,
it.
no, they told me not to do it for the first year.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of year. I was told, was it 4 6 months? I don't know, but I've heard that it's supposed to be a year, that you should
Hmm.
not be getting pregnant for a whole year, which makes sense because you can barely have any food or intake
Mm-mm.
anything. How are you gonna be able to feed a
Yeah.
baby too? You know what I mean? Like you can't.
Yeah, because I'll say like by a year I like had my diet down. I knew what I could eat in moderation.
Hmm.
I was snacking healthy throughout the day because I don't know about you, but I'm still always hungry. Like I'll eat,
Same.
it'll be like 30 minutes and I'm hungry like
Yes. Yes.
because you
Maybe
don't eat a lot, but your hunger gremlin, whatever that I forget what it's called now. There's a hormone in your stomach that causes hunger and it comes back
mm,
because they cut it out when they take your stomach
yeah.
and then it slowly regrows.
Yeah, so I definitely have that I like I am hungry and I snack a lot.
Hmm.
But then when I eat something, it's like, oh, okay, I'm full already. I guess I'll save it
Yeah.
for later. So that's how I am too.
I like snacking better than full meals because full meals tend to still make me feel bleh, like,
Yeah, I don't do full meals to be honest. Like even when I go to a restaurant or anything, I just take a few bites and then I'm like, okay, to go.
yeah.
Let's go. 'Cause I won't be able to eat more. Another thing that they warn us about is the topic of relationships changing after the surgery. I have to agree with that. In my case, it wasn't too difficult because what they tell you usually is that after a person gets the surgery, they kind of start getting like more attention and like they start feeling themselves and all that, and they start getting wild and want to go out there and do stuff and all that. And when they were telling me all that, I was laughing because I was like, I already do all that.
Yeah, I didn't, and my husband was worried about it, and I was like, have you not known me since I'm 17? I'm not gonna lose weight and be like, oh, like I'm gonna party now.
That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of people that have. Like, I'm dating
I
someone
know.
that he was 8 years with a person, and she left him after the surgery. Like, yeah, there's a
Oh
lot.
yeah, it's in those support groups. It runs rampant. I read these stories, and I'm like, oh my god, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
it is terrible. But for me, it was like, listen, I already can see other people if I want, so I'm okay, and I'm not worried about feeling myself and all that because I already was doing OF and everything. So like I
Yeah, I
that's
wasn't.
really good for me because I wasn't putting it out there as much because I was like finding my brand and all of that. Um, but I remember there was someone on my Instagram after the surgery and everything. I did a video and it was me like in lingerie and I was wearing jeans, but the lingerie was just like a top and
Hmm.
I did like a movement like touching myself or something. And the girl commented on my video, oh, since you lost all this weight, you've started acting out and you don't have to do all that or something like that, she said. And I was like, bitch, I've been doing this before. I was doing this. And that's the thing for me. It's so funny because I had already been doing videos and pictures and everything of myself.
I wish I would have. That's nice.
I have like my OF started when I was still what I was on my heaviest, like before the surgery. So for me, it was like, no, I'm not changing. I've already been this way. I've always been this way. So
No, I mean, I started doing stuff like that the month after my second was born. Cause
okay,
yeah, cause I was like, I can do this.
good, of course, anyone can.
It
No,
still
but
shocked me. I didn't realize like how
yeah,
much you could do this.
yes, but that's the thing. Like it's just, and I tell this to everyone because I've had people saying like, oh, when I lose weight, I'm gonna start. And no, 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 no. You don't
No.
have to wait for nothing. You can start doing everything right now, however you look right now, and then continue doing it. And you can try to improve yourself or look the way you want to look and do all those things, but it should never stop you from
Right.
starting doing
Mhm.
something. Like I've had so many people that are like, oh my god, I want to do a photo shoot with you, but I'm gonna wait until I look certain way to do the photos, and I'm like, why?
See, obviously Reddit has struck me down. But with real weight loss queens, that's when I started, I would find girls and they're like, oh, I wish I had your confidence already, because they would do filters or not, show their tummies. And I was like, people love it. Like,
Yeah.
just show it. Just be
That's
you.
it. You gotta love it yourself before, because people can love it, and if you don't like
No,
it, it's not gonna work. But what
no.
I say is like never stop yourself from doing things thinking about, oh, when I do this, I will get it done. No, just do
Mm-mm.
it now, and then you can do it again. Fuck it. Like that's me. Like I was doing OF before, and I'm doing it after, and I
Oh
guess
yeah. See, I did it at my lowest and I have gained weight, and some people have left and some people have stayed, and it's
that was another topic. So
is what it is.
as BBWs and as girls that were bigger, and when you lose the weight, you have the people that are your fans because of a fetish, right? And I saw it. I saw how when I started losing weight, I would get comments like, oh no, you're melting, or stuff like that. And I did lose people that were with me since the
Mhm.
beginning. I did lose them when I started looking smaller. Did that happen to you too?
I get, oh, look at you, you're filling back in, and I'm like, oh, damn.
No, I get that. I it's crazy because I feel like those people that left because I was getting smaller, um, they didn't really, they were not really connected with me. It was
Mhm.
just about the fetish in the body and all. But the people that stayed, I feel like they maybe could have come in because they liked me when I was bigger, but then they liked me, so they.
Yeah, you connect with people too, just showing your personality through your content too, which I think is important. Not
Yeah.
everyone does that.
Right, so I do have a lot of people that they started with me and they're still with me. I mean, I
Mhm.
did some left, but I do still have a lot of first
I do too.
beginning guys. So like, I do appreciate them. I appreciate that they like
Oh,
me,
I do too.
regardless of whatever size I am. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I always tell them, I'm like, I'm surprised you're still here. I'm an awkward person.
but but they know that it's me. They know that I talk to them. And, like it's that's the difference between like connecting with your fans and just posting whatever you need to.
Right.
But speaking of, I guess like being part of this industry and having that, for me at least, I was bigger and now me being smaller, like I see a difference. I have been told basically that I'm not a BBW anymore. But there are people that, because they know me already and they see my loose skin and they still see rolls and everything, they still call me a BBW. But if it would be any other person with my same weight, same size, and everything, they would deny them that label.
Right. But
You know,
if you called yourself chubby, they would say you're not chubby, you're bigger than chubby.
like it's just crazy to me, like the identity of being fat, because I was fat all my life, and to lose
Me too.
weight and being in a verge of like being almost not plus size is kind of weird, having people telling me you're not even that big, you're not even fat, you're not, and I'm like, listen, if I consider myself fat, I'm fat, that's it. And I was fat all my life, so please don't even tell me if I'm fat or not.
I went through that too, and I used to. And let's bring up Reddit again. There's a specific group. I won't name any names, but I got kicked out, and quote unquote, we have a certain image for what chubby looks like,
Mm,
and they were talking about my tummy because it has a hang and it sags and it's not connected like you envision
yeah,
chubby people to be
yeah,
like.
yeah.
So then I start posting in BBW groups, and they're like, "But you're not, because this was before my weight gain," and they're like, "You're not BBW." And I'm like, "What? Where do I fit in? Like, where do I go?"
Is exactly it. So we're in iHeart BBW, and like we have people of all sizes, all shapes and sizes, right? And it is crazy because like I feel like identity is very personal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like identity is very personal. We all have a different opinion on what a BBW is. We all have a different opinion of what fat or not is. So I feel like it's the kind of thing that you should allow the person to identify
Right.
they are and what they're comfortable with.
And we see ourselves differently than everybody else sees us.
Exactly. There's obvious cases of people that are much smaller and they do find an opportunity to label themselves as bigger to get that, you know, that
Right.
audience. I do see that. I do see that for sure. However, I remember, when the porn awards and everything come up, and people are like, "Oh, are you a BBW? Are you not a BBW?" Blah blah, and then they have the argument of like the girls that are smaller are winning the category of BBW, which I feel like is an issue for sure.
Oh, it's an issue. Yeah, it's an issue.
The problem is that in the industry, there's no place for the girls that are in the smaller scale of BBW.
Right. Because chubby, it doesn't fit. And see, that's why when I did the Real Weight Loss Queens and I was trying to find other women that would talk about weight loss, not even weight loss surgery, just weight loss in general from
Yeah,
being so big, because there's no market for that in between,
yeah,
because you don't look like the typical chubby or BBW.
right, right, and that's the thing. It's like the industry does not. It's either you're fit and you're mainstream, or you're not and you're BBW. That's it. There's nothing
Yeah.
more. So I feel like definitely we should have there should be a way to find a place for everyone, in a
Mm-hmm.
way that if you are this size or less, you're this. Like I feel like there should be like a definition, and not because I want to separate things, but because I feel like it would help everyone. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
the bigger girls would have an opportunity to shine on their categories and not being outshadowed by the people that are more acceptable, socially acceptable. And also the ones that are smaller would not feel like being shunned all the time that they consider themselves a BBW.
It's just like when growing up, you go to shop in the plus size section and you see the girls that they model as plus size, and you're like, wait a second,
They're not.
wait a minute, that doesn't look like me at all.
Not plus size at all. At all. If anything, some of them even use paddings and everything because they're still skinny and they use paddings because they
Yeah,
want the skinny face but the thicker body.
right. Which is the same in the industry.
But
It's the
yeah,
it's the the perfect ideal industry chubby body and the perfect ideal chubby BBW or BBW body. It's
yeah,
like it's a mess.
it is. It sure is. But I still think it's important that as a whole, like people are a little bit more considerate and before saying you are this or you're that to another person. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like for example, like I had this discussion with someone about the whole category if I fit or not. And they were like, oh, this person should not be in the category. It was a specific model. And I was like, why not? They are not fit. They are fat. They are obviously, they're obviously fat. And they were like, yeah, but they're like smaller fat. And I'm like, okay, but there's no smaller BBW category. So this is where they fit. This is where
Yeah.
we all fit. And they said, and I said something along the lines like, if you don't believe that that person fits in the category, you don't believe that I fit either.
Right.
And he told me, no, you do because you have like the rolls and all of that. And I'm like, that's excess skin though. I am a size large X large. I am a 14. That is barely in the plus size section. And they were like, oh, but you still look fat. And I'm like,
You look bigger, right?
but you don't know what size out of like, because there's people that they have their weight proportionate very differently.
Oh yeah. When people online, they'll ask me and they'll be like, "Oh, how heavy are you?" And I always tell them, because I'm like, I'm only 250 pounds, but because of how it's shaped, I can pass in some photos as a supersized BBW just because of the way it hangs.
I had this same comment. We were in Exodus, Miami, and one of the girls that was staying with us, she's very tall, but she's fit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she said what her weight was, I think, or her size was. I can't remember what it was. I think it was her weight. And I said, wow, that's crazy. I'm like 15 pounds more than her only.
But because she's tall, her
Because
weight fits different.
She looks so different. And also like the size thing too. It's like I can see a girl that is XL and that fits the same stuff as me, and she looks so much different than me just because I have all the excess skin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we cannot be trying to define what other people are just by looking at them, because you
Right.
don't know. At the end of the day, you don't.
I met a new friend recently. She sees this, she's gonna laugh
Yeah.
because in her bio she calls herself BBW Light, and I think it's funny because it's like she's like starting that niche. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not there, I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm a light version.
The plus size community, they already started doing that. Like when I make fashion posts and everything, like in my influencer page,
There's a mid-size hashtag.
I use the mid-size
Yeah.
hashtag because they already are working on defining that there should be a space for people that are plus, but not in that. Because we got to understand that people that are over 3X, they are much more limited and they're much more ostracized and everything than a person that is less. So it like that fact that the fashion are already recognizing that difference is very important, and I feel like the industry should also apply that, the sex work industry, like we
Oh
should.
yeah, it should be way more diverse.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
not just for people to know where they belong, but also for the fans to find the type of body they like.
Yes, because you know how,
It'd
like,
be good
I
for
mean, you
everyone.
know, it gets annoying when people are like, "You're not this." Like, they're basically telling you, "Hey, don't use this hashtag," and you're like, "Wait a second,
Right, right,
but I
right.
am."
But yeah, no, it's a very interesting conversation. um Give me a second. It is a very interesting conversation, and definitely something that, hey, we should come up with terms to use ourselves. And I was just doing this the other day. I was asking on Twitter what would be a term that non-binary people would like to use when they are big, because obviously
That's true.
only BBW. There's no BBP, beautiful person, or you know what I mean.
Right.
I was asking around if there would be a term that they thought was good for it, because I feel like they should start using it and they should start making it a thing. The mid-size thing, it wasn't the fashion industry that made it; it was people online
Oh yeah, I was using it on Tumblr for a long time. I was like, I'm.
that made it, and now it's catching on. Now everyone knows what a mid-sized person is.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we should definitely come up with our own terms to determine like different body sizes, and just help the industry as a whole, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I the BBW Light, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
I thought it was clever. I was like, that's
It's
pretty
funny,
good.
though. It's funny. It is funny. I like it. I mean, at the end of the day, as a general term, we will still use BBW for all of us. But
Right.
I definitely think that there should be categories, and we can all just make them a thing. Let's just make them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And stop telling other people what they are and what they're not. I'm just
Yes, I had somebody on Twitter today telling me that I was still sexy even though I'm not technically a BBW, and I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, what do you
right.
see? That's what I said back. I was like, can you explain why I'm not a BBW?
I really
Please.
don't understand where they come up with these things. Because it's like
I actually started laughing. I'm sitting there at work, I'm like looking for like the hidden camera. Like, where's the joke? Like,
maybe he meant SSBBW. I don't know. Like that's
I
weird.
don't. It was so crazy to me.
For me, it is weird to go on the internet and to go and tell someone what they are and what they're not. Like it's just weird to me.
And there's so much of it in so
Yeah,
many ways.
yeah, it is just weird to me. But anyway, back to the original topic, which was about the weight loss surgery. Yeah, any other things that you want to point out as things, or things that people ask you about it?
Well, for me, because I went to Mexico, everybody's like, "Oh my god, how did that go?"
Right.
It was amazing. No, but I mean, that's not the only thing. I have people that also, they're like, "Oh, I've been looking into that for a long time," you know, but I don't, people around me don't support me. And I'm like, having people in your life that support you is huge.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, there's so many support groups and forums
Yeah.
with other people that don't have that system, and they make one. And that's honestly, that's what talked me into going through with it, because I saw that there are so many people to connect to and see their journeys, which is huge, because you try to, at least I did, I tried to find that connection to other people. What were their bodies starting to look like?
Yeah.
How were their lives going? Like, I spent like 2 years eavesdropping on other people's posts and just reading everything.
Yeah, I was there. I also looked up at all the experiences, and that was great. I was asked that too. Do you have a support circle? And I was like, yeah. Like my boyfriend was very supportive about it. Um, and they talked about the whole relationship thing and everything. I did tell them like I know that my boyfriend likes his big girls, and I know that me losing obviously he likes my body how it is right now, but he's being very supportive about it, and he still is about my changes and everything. So
Right.
I feel like it was no problem, but the fact that the doctors they tell you these things and they kind of like warn you a little bit about it, it prepares you a little bit of whatever change you could have. For me, as a person that I'm in an open relationship, that I have been seeing other people and that he does too, so it was not something that applied to us too much because we got our other outlets if we want, but it was important to hear also, like for
Oh
any
yeah.
reason it's important to know
Yeah.
those.
For me, I'm an overthinker, so I was immediately like, "Are you gonna lose me, or like leave me when I lose the weight?" And he's like,
Yeah,
"Why would I do that? No." And I was like, it was really hard, because I was like immediately like, "I don't believe you. Like, you're gonna take off."
I get that. I totally get that. Believe me, I totally get that. I was there.
And
I was
yeah,
there.
so it was like a good like year and a half where he was just convincing me, "Hey, like I like you wherever you are," like, you know. But it's tough. Like, it's mentally tough.
Reassurance, like in a process like this, you definitely need someone that reassures you and
Right.
lets you know that for real, like they don't care how your body will look like and all. Because at
But
the end,
also, even if you don't look different, there's that jealousy, because he's worried about how you're going to change.
right.
Yeah.
I remember being like, I know I'm not gonna be skinny because I'm
Right.
gonna be very honest. Like I didn't go extreme with my process. Like I didn't go with like starting going to the gym and eating
Yeah,
only
I never did either.
foods and stuff. Like I didn't go extreme with it. I know there's people that do and they lose weight and they end up looking extremely skinny. So I always knew that I was not going to lose that much weight. And I remember when the doctors would be like, "What is your goal? What is your target weight?" I will be like, "I have no target. I literally just want to do this process so it fits as my hormones,
Mm,
gets it fixed in that, and I am good with whatever size I end
see,
up in."
they never asked me. They told me. They said, not the doctors in Mexico specifically, but the doctors here in the States, they were always like, for 5'6", you should be between 135 and 155. And I'm going, wow, that's a lot. Like, I got to 180, which, with all the loose skin, I was probably closer to 160.
Mm.
And I felt like I looked sick. Like,
Yeah, I have not gone under 200. I almost did. Maybe if I weighed myself every day, I would have actually seen that I was under 200. But that's another thing with me. I am the weird kind of patient because I never took process pictures. I never weighed myself all the time. I never did any of those things. The
I
only
even had an Instagram page.
Oh no, the only times that I weighed myself was because the doctor asked me how much do you weigh, or the nurse that came over, and that's why I weighed myself. But I never actually looked at the scale. I never put too much thought into it. I did not process pictures, none of that stuff. I didn't do
Yeah,
it.
I did all the process, the progress pictures. I did them. I think I did them once. Did them once a month
Yeah.
for a year, and then what else did I did the weight charts. So I had like the charts on my phone. So every week on Friday morning, I did a weigh-in, and I would put how much I lost each week, and I did that for a year.
See, I did not do that because I knew that if I started doing that, I would get in my head whenever I would get stuck. And I know that that happens.
It
So I
does.
never actually paid attention to it whatsoever. I just would be like, oh. this amount now. Oh, cool. Like I never actually.
No, I'll give my advice for what worked for me when I did get stuck, because there's always those plateaus,
Yes, yes.
because I was pretty hardcore. Yeah, I was pretty hardcore keto. Like I did like just meats and cheeses and like
I mean,
pickles. I ate so many. I ate so many pickles.
hitting the pillow right now. Like I'm the worst at this, y'all. Y'all have here the differences between someone that actually did what they were supposed to do and me who did not give flying.
I I was really on track. I did everything really on track until I got pregnant, because cravings are just
Yes, of
all
course.
I want. When I was pregnant after weight loss, all I wanted was cereal, and if you can't eat and drink at the same time, it was catastrophic. But all I wanted was Fruity Pebbles
Oh,
and
that's
donuts.
oh
So I every week I was very hardcore, and if I got stuck, I would have a day where, in moderation, obviously, because you can't just like completely pig out because your stomach can't take it.
okay.
So if I wanted a donut, I had donut. If I wanted like a soda with actual sugar, which don't drink soda because it's a slippery slope.
Like soda, that's the one thing. It's so hard.
Oh,
That's
it's
my
fun.
kryptonite. The soda is my kryptonite for sure.
So I did all of that stuff, and if I had like a weekend of where I did whatever I wanted and I went back on track the week, the scale would move, because I did something my body didn't expect after expecting the same thing for so long.
Yeah. And I guess for me, the soda is one of the most difficult things that I have been on and off on, and I did very bad. And I know that one that's something that I would
It's
say
so
you should
hard.
not do.
Mm-mm.
Very hard, but it expands your stomach a lot. Like that is one of the things that can get you back to where you were, and it is very hard to quit. That one for
Yeah.
me, that's the one.
I quit until I got pregnant, and like one of the first major cravings besides the cereal and the donuts, I was like, I just want a Coke. That's all I want.
I wanted Dr. Pepper.
I was like, I need it. I'm gonna cry if I don't have
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's a very hard one. So I feel like that's one of the struggles right now. I think I already plateaued, and I feel like I may have gained a little weight, like 5 or 10 pounds at the most. Um, but it's just hard. It creates a
Yeah,
new fear of like, oh my god, like, am I gonna get back to where I was? Like, I bet,
that's
But
where I am right now.
you just have to adjust. And honestly, for me, it's not like I am not the kind of person that thinks that the worst thing that could happen to me is to get back to my weight. Like, I don't think that either. I just am trying to be preventive because I don't want to end up in the same place that I was when I started. Like, that's
Right.
really it. But I don't look down on fatness. I don't look down on bigger
Mm-mm.
bodies, obviously. That's why I'm still so involved with plus size communities and everything. And I love fat women so much.
So do I.
So much.
I don't trust people that don't.
I just love fat people. So like it's not even looking at it like that, but it's like I did this for health reasons. I don't want to end up in a place.
Right. Same with me. I'm like, I don't want to know that I failed at doing what I set out to do.
Right. And yeah, it is a hard place to be at because you're constantly like, oh, and the fear of that. But
Oh
with
yeah.
that said, I feel like we covered a lot of the bases of weight loss surgery. And if you have any
I think
questions,
so too.
please leave them in the comments. The last thing we're gonna do, and I feel like we should have done this at the beginning, is showing pictures of our little transformations. She did the whole side by side thing. I never did that, so y'all are not getting that from me. But I'm gonna show you
Listen, I've got a bunch.
Apple Honey, some of the Apple Honey's transformation. You can tell us how you started, like what way you started and what way you got to in the pictures if you want. It's
Okay.
gonna be like 5 seconds each picture. So there
Yeah.
we
That
go.
was
Start.
327 pounds. It was before my 2-week diet.
Okay.
Versus I think I think it was 190 pounds there. It wasn't my lowest, but you can see all the texture.
Yes. I don't have pictures like
That
that.
was the day after my surgery in
Okay.
Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 180 pounds. I was very small.
Wow. So on mine, you're just gonna see pictures of me before I clothe it completely. I don't have like the whole process things, but I was 345 on these pictures. When I went into surgery, I was 327.
You look so different.
Yes. And this is a very important picture of my
Mm-hmm.
titty, my deflated titty. And
Yes.
this is me now. That was the other day in Miami. So yeah,
Mhm.
I just wanted to show, like, I posted that picture of my deflated titty on my
I
other.
don't think I can say on YouTube what I call them.
I was like, this is the realities of weight loss surgery, y'all. So, okay, for the future, for me, I am planning on getting reconstructive surgery. That's something I have already, I'm going to work on. And I am planning on getting some things improved. I'm trying to get the titties and I'm trying to get the booty. And the booty, I'm trying to get it. I never thought about getting a BBL, but it hurts sitting. So that's
I'm
the only
horrible.
reason why I want a damn cushion. That's the only. Everyone's like, "You're gonna get an ass." Oh my god! And I'm like, I just need cushion. Y'all don't understand the pain that I go through. Like
Oh,
I
it
had
sucks.
researched so much to get this office chair, to get like a comfortable office chair that I can cross my legs and everything.
Oh, yeah, because if you don't, you'll get sciatic problems.
And I'm here like I am a photographer. I'm editing photos for hours in my computer. I'm doing everything on my computer all the time. It is so I've had to cut off on work because I cannot sit for that many hours anymore. So it's like it's actually a need at this point to get a damn booty. So that's for me in the future. But a lot of process I have to go through to get all this done. But oh well.
Oh yeah, no, it's I would love to. I'm always torn because I'm like like even at the weight that I am right now, if I just didn't have the tummy hang and the just I could do jumping jacks without the bat wings,
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be okay. Like it's not even so much the weight as it is just being physically comfortable at this weight. And the extra skin just does not allow for that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm as confident as I can be, but yeah, the loose skin definitely bothers me. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to work on that. But we'll get it done. It'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, it's just the realities of it. And
Oh
we
yeah.
got this topic because like I get asked about it all the damn time. And I
I
will say this: I don't even get asked about it as much because when I first started the process, I kind of told all my friends, like I went on Facebook and I said, okay, y'all, I'm getting weight loss surgery. I'm gonna lose a lot of weight. If y'all make my whole life about that, I'm gonna stop talking to you. Like, don't come at me talking just about how great I look now that I lost weight because I looked great before. So let's not even go.
Oh, I hate honestly from people I know personally, I used to hate that when they're like,
I
"You
didn't get
look
it
so
close.
good."
I almost don't get it, and it's because for since start I told them all, if you come at me telling me how great I look now, I will make it so awkward for you.
Right.
Because how dare you tell me that I look good now when I've always looked good? Like, so
Yeah, it drives me insane. Like I remember losing that first 100 pounds, and like family members are like, I kind
oh,
of look at them, I'm like, okay, I look good now. What did I look like to you before?
my mom has always wanted me to lose weight, so it's different. I have to take it from her. But from everyone else, I'm not. That's the only person I let go. Like, oh my god, you're so. And I still roll my eyes at her. So I kind of warned everyone, and I didn't get that experience as much. But it does come from a lot of people that are acquaintances that don't know me that well, that miss
Mhm.
when I told them not to do it. So I
Yeah.
still get it. But mostly it's like if you want to talk about the process and like me advising you on it, I'm down for it. But if all you
Oh,
want to do is tell me how much better I look now that I'm much smaller, I'm
I
not
hate
going to play that game. So
Oh, but I see I'm so torn because even when they're like, "Oh, you look so much better now that you're filling back out," and I'm going, "Oh, like that sucks too." You're like,
oh, that's a whole other topic. Listen, I a little bit on the conversation about bashes because I was very ready for people to be like, "Oh my God, you look so much better now, smaller," and to kind of make me feel like I didn't look good enough for them before. But I did not expect people that would tell me, "Oh my God, you're not looking as good anymore because I'm smaller now." Like I did not expect that, and when I got that, it fucked me up. Like I was in a bash in Vegas, and it's a BBW bash.
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't gonna be like the target audience. Like no one was gonna be looking for the smaller fat girl. But I did not expect for guys to literally go out of their way to tell me like, "Oh, you're not big enough," and I
Yeah.
was like, "What the is happening here?" It was
And I
so
will say most of it comes from men, and I don't know if it's because they have no filter.
fetish.
It's just it blows my mind because they say some things, and I'll sit there and I'm reading something, and I just blink. I'm like, the audacity! Like,
Yeah, it's the man that all they care about is the fetish. They don't care about you as a person at all. Because like
right,
they would understand that you did this for your health. Like it's not like I felt bad looking as like a fat person. I did not back then. I didn't listen. I was literally putting myself naked in the internet before, so I was fine. Um, but the fact that they don't care about why you did it or anything, they only care about what they want is
right.
yeah, yeah.
And there's even the fetish for the loose skin, and then once it starts filling back in, they don't want it.
So it's so crazy to me.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. I don't hide my loose skin, but I don't like it doesn't show as much either. I feel like I've stayed like in a level that I didn't lose as much, so you don't see it that much, but you still kind of, you know. So I'm
My
like,
stomach was always so big when I lost the weight. It was so there was no hiding it. So I was just like, you know what? Bam.
yeah, yeah, no,
Here it is.
mine is kind of weird in between. It's like sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. It's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
anyway, it was a great conversation.
It was, yeah.
Thank you, Apple Honey, and I hope you come back and we have more conversations about this. And if anyone has a question, like I said, leave it in the comments for us. We will talk about
Yes,
it as much as
please.
you want. You can message us and you can find us. You can tell where you find you again.
BBApplehoney.com, Twitter, Instagram, all the sites are there.
And you can find me in babycherry.com or at Bori Curves on Instagram. Look at my bunny. Okay, you see her.
Oh, look.
Boba. Boba. Ah, she's so cute. Anyway, uh, thank you so much for coming on today. I hope you
Yes.
enjoyed your little wine. I know I
I
did.
do. I have a little sip left.
Thank you. And we'll see you all later. Next Tuesday, we'll come back with another topic that it is chill, a cool conversation that we all want to know about. So, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.